Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you semi-regularly live on emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're with Jeff and Drew from I Call Fives. They are coming back, and you probably remember them as being a pretty popular pop-punk band back in the day, as some of the kids would say. So welcome, guys. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much for having us. How you doing?
We'll have you each go around and introduce what you do in the band, and tell us a little bit about yourselves. Jeff, you want to start?
Sounds good. Hello, my name is Jeff. I'm the vocalist. I like to sing things, and that's pretty much all I do, other than cause headaches in the band. But other than that, I sing a lot.
Yeah, luckily it's been socially distanced headaches this past year. So we've really cut those down to a pretty bare minimum. But I'm Drew. I play the bass. And I used to sometimes yell behind our song. I don't know what I was doing, but a mix of that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks for having us, folks. We're happy to be here.
Absolutely. You don't like yelling anymore?
Well, no, it's not that so much. It's just, it's not early in our late teens and early 20s, it seemed a little more appropriate, but I don't know, moving forward, and particularly yelling, there's a lot of spit and stuff. So I'm very concerned about the post-COVID reality that we're going to enter. I don't think anybody really needs me to be yelling let's go.
I don't know. In your early 30s, I feel like you have to scream even more, but we'll see how that
goes.
This
is going to speak so there's kind of two ends of the spectrum here. Jeff describes this as early 30s, but we're both about to be 33. So we're actually
throw me under the bus, man.
We are closer to mid 30s.
Father time.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're getting kind of old. We'll revisit the yelling thing maybe, but no, we'll go from there. Otherwise, I'd like the soft sounds of Jeff and maybe some gentler tones could be more of our forte moving forward.
Yeah, he says that now. We'll get him on a stage. He'll play that first note. He'll be like, here it comes. Let's go.
I'm going to give him a let's go, guys.
Spitting on everybody. Yes.
Well, of course, you'll have your glass plate in front of your microphone.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome.
Well, we did actually
Brothers, but a step ahead, a step more beyond just a gate of
we
dodge
played
all the
behind
beer
a
bottles.
fence. We literally played behind a fence once. So who's to say? We've certainly, I used to kind of liken us like the cockroaches of pop punk. We've dealt with some weird scenarios. So I'm sure that once this all shakes out, we'll be able to land on our own 2 feet.
You cannot kill us.
Also, the idea that you're mid 30s. I just turned 34, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, again, we're only pushing 33, so you're fucking old. We're not that old.
It's all falling apart.
We're all on the same consensus here.
Yeah.
But it is strange.
17. I'm 26. Excuse you.
27. I remember when I was 26.
Yeah. It gets worse.
It is all downhill from here.
It really is, kind of.
Yes, to quote Newfound Glory. But even that's what makes me feel stranger.
I say it often.
Yeah, but so that Newfound Glory Catalyst came out, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So then that's when I really started to feel okay, I only have so many fingers and toes now. We're just getting kind of fucking old.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, on a much more light note, yeah.
It's also you're saying I need to tell the audience to let's go, and now I don't have to do that as much, and I'm I feel I need someone to yell that at me at a show now. Otherwise I'm
now it's more of a geriatrical reminder than so much a vocal addition. Yeah.
Yeah. It helps.
So that's why I have to yell at you all the time. It just wakes you up a little bit.
If I go to show with Lizzie, then it's oh, I know to get in the pit now. I know this.
He came into the pit with me at the U's last year, and I said, "Excuse me, old man, you are here." Yeah, I was very shocked.
I lost an earring. I was like, "No, I'm never doing this again."
I'm back of the room guy now.
Yeah, I'm a beer by the bar.
Yeah, hang out at the bar. Really enjoy taking the vibe
on the counter.
Yeah, need a good lean, sure.
It's good band lean. Where you just were really judgmental of the acts, and you're I don't know, that opener. But I'm really excited for the headliner. Yeah, they're gonna do real good tonight. But they'll play this song.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you guys are coming back. after a hiatus, and you're dropping a cover instead of an original song as your first song back. Can you like tell us more about that process and your idea to cover this song? Because I also feel like it's reflective of you guys just coming back because of the title being At Your Funeral.
That's
trying to
way
say we're
more.
dead.
Yeah, I love, and I'll admit, like, I wish that sort of perspective and like deep thought went into it. It did not. For us, it was really like, this all started about just over a year ago. The timing was actually pretty awful because COVID would only start a couple months later. So it really just became like, okay, what can we do like the quickest to get it out? So, sort of in par with our past behaviors and work ethic, the easiest way was, well, let's just play some song that somebody else had already written. So Saves the Day, obviously a pretty damn influential band on us. We're from the same state, although they're on a different side of the state, and there's this weird South Jersey, North Jersey divide, but that's a weird thing, but from the same area, and they're a band that we had grown up loving. And this song actually had just turned 20 years old. So because of that, we're like, well, why not this song? Like, let's just have this and we'll pair it with, we're going to have a new single coming out the end of next month. And that was really the thought process. But Jeff, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I remember waking up in 7th grade and putting on MTV2 or VH1 and just watching music videos before, I made the trek to school. And I remember watching At Your Funeral pop up, and I loved it. And it was an awesome song. And I ended up buying the CD because of that song. And I love the entire album. And it's something that where like I felt like we all collectively enjoyed a song. So why not play it together? And it's a nice way to welcome us, back and build up a little hype before we release that single that I'm dying to release. I am dying to release.
I noticed, Jeff, that you
please
said
get the signal, steal it, find it, get it out there.
It's not that relevant. You said the trek to school.
Yeah,
like,
the trek to school.
Like an old man
I walked to school
through 6
3
miles
miles in the snow uphill.
The steak dinner was only
like we
nickel.
had backpacks with all the seriously, this wasn't 1930, it was 2004 or 2003, something like that. I had like I was a nerd. I was a total geek in high school. I'm still a geek. I play video games every single night and it's awesome. But I would take a backpack filled with all those advanced placement courses books.
Oh God.
And I'd go to and from. Yeah, I was a total nerd. I love that stuff. I'm still in school right now. What's up? I'm 33.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 32, right? I'm 32, right, Drew?
You'll be 33 in June, yes.
All right, sounds good. He does the math.
Timekeeper. I'm like this old guy with just a big clock, and it's just telling me things.
It's also you round down when you're older, you round up when you're younger, and then
it's not great. No, but so yes, we had gotten together, and then we really, again, it was difficult because we weren't able to actually practice regularly. After having played for like 2 months or so, COVID became legitimate. We're like, oh shit. And at first, like, well, this can be great. Like, we can use the time to write and stuff. But little did we know how serious and the inability to actually get together would become. So part of the reason why we chose to just do this, the cover to go with the single, was really just because we just wanted to get 2 songs out quick. I'm sure delve further into it, but we're working on a bunch of more songs, and we have stuff for an EP that's going to hopefully come out this year too. But again, just with everything going on with holiday stuff, COVID stuff, it just seemed the best route to get something out was the 2 songs like they're coming.
Hell yeah.
Can you tell us more about this eagerly anticipated other single that is coming out next month?
Well, Jeff's really excited about it. So occasionally. So typically, I guess you could better say, there's always been kind of a divide where we had a batch of our own songs, and Jeff's kind of always worked on his own songs too. And this time it was just a good opportunity, again, with COVID stuff considered, but also because it was just a good song. Jeff came to us with an idea, and we were like, this is a great song. Let's work on it, and let's maybe tweak it a little bit here or there. But he came to the table with an awesome song, and we kind of, we did that then collectively, and it's called Be Kind. And I'll let Jeff tell you more about it because it's his darling, as we can tell.
I didn't know we were going to go that in depth with it. I didn't know we were allowed to release all of that information.
Well, I'm sure that we'll still survive.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so the song's called "Be Kind," and the reason why I'm so excited to put it out is, as much as I actually do love the song, I wrote it originally on acoustic, and then I brought it to the guys, and then we really like transformed it into this like whole other song, which I love, and I'm one of those people, and I apologize if this isn't the greatest kind of person, but I love listening to it back because it's just like this new thing to me. And I'm just so excited for everyone else to hear it. And that's why I'm like, just get it out there so I can be proud of it kind of thing, but it's it's super cool. And I'm very excited for everybody to hear it. Again, I don't know how far too in depth but it's really the whole song. The song's called "Be Kind" because that's what I wanted to portray. As a person, you should be a kind person. You should not be a bad person. And again, I don't want to give too much away about the song, but the whole thing about it is that we can all be better people, and and make it pop punk and go.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
And you have some fast drums and some halftime choruses, and it's a perfect thing.
Exactly. A few blast beats.
Yeah.
So no, we're good.
So admittedly, it's a bit more, it's a bit slowed down. It's funny because the picture that we have that accompanies it, our first picture in a long time, Jeff's wearing this like alt rocker leather jacket. So I think
I was trying to look as serious as possible.
Yeah.
No,
It's just the natural progression.
Yeah. I'm mature now, believe me.
I don't know what Daughtry. I truly don't know what Daughtry looks like. If you guys remember that guy.
Oh, I remember.
But
He's a
Daughtry.
bald guy with a goatee. You think I look like Daughtry?
I'm pretty sure you look like Daughtry in that picture. I don't know.
It's not over.
That's what the picture looks like. So folks might, it's not this super fast song, but we have
Sorry
some
if
of that stuff
loud.
coming. We have some of that coming too. But yeah, I think this first one, it was a fun sort of way to come back paired with, a pop punk, classic of sorts. So we're really excited about it.
So you went on hiatus in 2014. Like, it felt like there were a lot of bands that were, and I don't think it's like we're definitely coming back in the year 2020. But do you think there was like something about the year 2020 for like doing the band, or was it just like the timing is right and it just so happened like to line up with all this stuff, or like was there something about like a 6-year break that was like, yeah, this is the right amount of time between doing it to when we're going to come back and do it all again?
No, I mean, well, part of it is it wasn't really in 2014, and Jeff could recall this. So we really stopped in the end of 2012. But the major thing that we always did was we never wanted to say like, oh, we're done, we'll never play again, because we had all lived fairly locally, and like, sort of the saying went like, well, we're not dead, so like we could hypothetically play a show. And so one of those shows we got offered to play in 2014 was with Green Day. So we kind of kept, we kept that door cracked open intentionally for the, if something really great came along. But at the same time, Jeff and myself with school and jobs and folks, Jeff's got a child, and our guitarist Mike has a kid too. Folks have families and all these like big adult real life things. So unfortunately, just, music was not able to be a part of that lifestyle. And Jeff can speak to that better. But moreover, when, 2019, 2020 came around, it was more of just like, okay, well, like, their kids are a little bit older. People have a little bit more free time. But I think the reason we saw a lot of folks and a lot of artists that we all enjoyed kind of wind down in the early 2010s because of age. I mean, so when we stopped, we were, our mid 20s. And so some of our peers, let's say, were pushing their late 20s or early 30s. And I think for a lot of people, you kind of have to start making decisions about, financial stability and just, what's next and things like that. So I think there was a lot of bands in a similar kind of tier. And of course we loved doing it, and it was a highlight of my life for sure. But there's some reality to having to pay bills and having to start looking at life in the next chapter sort of thing. So for us, like I said, it was more of an age thing, I think is fair to say. But Jeff, I'm sure you can answer that how you feel too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say my dad was being a real dick and kicking me out of the house, but anyways, no, I'm just playing. No, my dad's the man. He's a great guy. I'm being facetious. Anyways, yeah, no, we really stopped towards the end of 2012, but yeah, that the opportunity to play with Green Day, which was that's like bucket list in my life. I wanted to, like, when I was 10 years old or 12 years old, whenever I made this decision, I wanted to tour Warped Tour, which we got to do, and I wanted to play a show with Green Day. And those were like my two things. Like, I will accomplish this before I die, and I'm so excited that I got to do that. And now I've replaced those with new goals. And don't worry, the stadium tour is coming soon. But the important thing, like, for me, is where that whole life did sort of kick in, where you were responsible for bills, all those, college bills start coming in, and then, you got to, pay for a place to live. Relationships are getting more serious. You have the most wonderful thing in the world and a child. And, things got super, super duper serious, but as much time as went in between it, I know it seems like it's a long time for a band to not really do anything, but still be friendly with each other and have communication and still possibly something working towards in the future. But so Drew reached out to me previously, and I was still, it was right around when we were having our child, and it wasn't the right time. And now I feel like a big part of me was missing. And me and Drew are friends. So we're like, he's like, hey man, you want to come, sing some damn songs, you son of a, like, but truth be told, like, I
hope I don't sound like that though, by the way. I wouldn't mimic
how you sound in my head sometimes.
That sounded like Danny. That was Danny DeVito as the Penguin. That was terrible.
I'm sorry. That's okay. I take that back. I apologize. That's just rude. No, but it's such a huge part of my life. I never stop writing music. I always play music. You can see on the wall behind me, I have a guitar. I have acoustic right down here, which I just recently got back from Drew. He got it set up, but it's just, the timing was right. Again, it wasn't about a specific time or anything like that, but now that things have fallen together and in place in our lives, and as awful as it's been not being able to be like together with each other for this songwriting and stuff like that, it's given me the opportunity to focus a lot more on music and just being creative overall. And and again, I really think it's going forward. It's going to be a huge part of both of our lives. And I'm very, very excited to keep this going. And I'm glad this time passed, because obviously we are older, as we spoke about before. We're definitely more mature. And I'm just so excited about all the new content, all the new stuff that we're creating right now, because it's still I Call Fives, and I love it, but it's a little bit more mature, and again, I don't want to sound arrogant or overly confident, but
this is your time to sound as arrogant as you want to.
Yeah, this is the
no.
on right now.
I'm just I'm very excited about all the new music we're writing, and I don't see the 2013 or the 2014 version of myself writing this. And again, I'm older. I don't want to say I guess I'm wiser. So, but yeah, no, I'm super excited. I'm glad this time has passed, and I'm glad we are where we are. And I guess it was just meant to be. It's coming out great, and I'm very, very excited to release all this stuff.
Yeah, it's sick. I think a lot of fans. I don't think bands so much, but maybe this is just sort of something in the music industry of the way that the machine works or something, where it's like, the idea of a band taking a hiatus or like stepping away from it for some time and having that life that allows them to be at home and not just be constantly on tour, constantly writing new music, constantly doing all these other things that demand so much of a musician's time. Being able to just have like that regular life for a certain period of time and then come back and do the band. It's this weird thing where it's not like a job where it's like, I have to show up to an office every single day. I work at this job for, 20 years or whatever it is. Whoever's working a job for 20 years, whatever it is. But it's like you can take that time away from it and step back and pursue other things. There's a lot of other avenues that it provides for you as a musician to do other things. Do you feel like there was ever that pressure of like, we have to stay a band or we have to like completely go our separate ways, or like how did it make you feel at the time of like making that choice for yourselves?
Well, I mean, I'll first just say, I think, and this is a very, deep response to a deep question, but truthfully, all of us pretty much, actually all of us literally, had lived with their folks up until the end. And, it's all white middle-class people that like kind of had that fallback thing. And I think there's almost, I don't want to say that I wish I wasn't in that scenario, because if it wasn't for my parents, I wouldn't have probably been able to do what we had done. But I almost wonder if there's like this other, this alternate, what do they say? Simulation, like a different simulation where I was I had to, split rent with 4 friends and really work hard. I guess what I'm saying, and like Jeff worked and the guy still worked and stuff, and I delivered pizzas, don't get me wrong, but like I didn't have to worry about like my next meal, let's say. So I think that there was a level of, I don't want to say we didn't work hard, but I think when you like I knew for myself, I could just go finish school and live with my parents. And again, I'm not endorsing it, like you should have worked less hard because of those things, but I think, I think when you have those sorts of fallback opportunities, I never had this thought of, if we don't make the Used, for instance, we just mentioned them. I remember the stories where they were living out of their van. And Christ, that makes me really feel like, if I'm in that boat, we better write a fucking hit, because, then what? And so I don't mean to overstate, like of course I'm happy that I had a family and the ability to I had a place to live. And I'm not saying had I not had that, we would have written more hits or something. I guess I'm just saying that I think we had
could have been the next Jackson 5, Drew.
Wow.
Well, no, they got beat with the fucking switch. I don't know if you ever watched the movie. Joe used to hit him with the branch, but
Jesus.
But yeah, let's not go down that road. But my point is that we certainly worked hard. And for me at the time, like when we were younger, one of my driving things was like, guys, we all dropped out of school. Again, we're delivering pizzas. We're working, at electronics stores. We're doing, not the things that we would ultimately choose to do, but we're doing it because we're pursuing this band. But I think still at the end of the day, like there's a part of me that thinks, man, we could have maybe worked a little bit harder had we not kind of come from the upbringings that we all had. And again, I know this is a weird thing to be candid about, but when you think about a lot of folks, like we didn't make any money, period. So to be able to do that for about 6 years, it took a lot of help. Again, we still had to work on our own, sure, but if I was paying rent, a phone bill, car note, all those things, I would have never been able to do it because we literally made no money. So come 2013, at the end of 2012, when this ended, 6-7 years into it, I was just like, you know what? And again, of course, I still live with my folks and I had a place to sleep every night, but I was 25 and I didn't have a nickel to my name. And I was just like, you know what? I think as much as this sucks and this is going to hurt. I wasn't mad at the prospect of potentially, being able to buy, I don't know, a new pair of shoes if I just wanted to. Literally, like I was dependent on credit cards that I'm still paying this debt off. So, I kind of liken my time in the band to that was my college experience because, financially, luckily all the money went through my social security number. So I was able to bullshit and get credit cards, which was also horrible because then I would always spend it. But my ultimate point being, of course, this was something that we definitely all wanted to pursue, but I think everyone kind of has a limit financially and just, effort wise, like we had put again, about 6 years into it and it was tough. So of course I wasn't happy when it ended how it did, but I understood it was about that time.
I mean,
Jeff, are you ashamed? No. Jeff,
not at all. I loved every second privilege? Of it. Life's wonderful.
No, again, I guess all I'm saying is, I wouldn't want anyone. I'm not looking for sympathy because we came from backgrounds that allowed us to do that. That's not. Oh, yeah. I just think it's an interesting thing to see. Had we not had that, I really do wonder to myself, like, would we have really been able to pursue it for all those years? What kind of drive does someone have when they don't know about their next meal or they have to sleep in their car? Like those, and again, these are very, deeper perspectives, but that I just always kind of wondered. And again, the Used is the one that really made me think about it. Like they really were relying on a hit. We never had to worry about it like that. So it's, or even Good Charlotte was always talked about, like the streets of DC.
So now you're going to say, if I had worked harder like the Madden brothers, I could be married to Cameron Diaz, is what
It's exactly where I was.
Exactly.
Apparently you can read minds, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Well, and also I will say, so they were from Waldorf, and I briefly lived in that same area. They were not on the mean streets of fucking DC, unless they were unless they were leaving home, which was like 80 minutes away, to go walk around the cold streets of DC. I hope they're not listening to this, because I'm sure they'll be pissed.
I'm going to send this
Mr.
directly
Madden.
to them.
Yeah.
I
You never
agree with
know.
that entire idea.
I'm a huge fan. Ignore everything he said.
I'm out. Yeah.
You guys are awesome, and you definitely, grew up on the hard
But
streets.
So I really only, really went off on that tangent, though, because I think we had a lot less to lose than some folks might have. And for us, we were lucky to be able to pursue it in the manner we did. But I think everyone knew when it was time. It was just like, we've done Warped Tour. We had already been to Australia and England once each. We had done Canada multiple times. We played the US a billion times with some bands that had done a great job. Our first full US tour was with the Wonder Years, but we were also realistic with each other to know, our first tours with the Wonder Years 4 years prior in a car, and now they had been headlining 1,000-cap rooms, and that's awesome for them. And I'm not, that's great, but we had to be honest with ourselves and say, all right, but we're playing to 40 or 50 people outside of the the Northeast. And I love any of those people that came, or even if, for obvious reasons. But at the end of the day, for a lot of folks, it just comes down to stability and comfortability. And I think we kind of exhausted that individually.
Congratulations. That was a 27-minute response to a question.
Well, hey,
it was
said
very
earlier
sad.
that you hit your mark at 29 and a half minutes.
So that's it
You're
for me.
at
I'm
34 minutes.
gonna press the burp and fart buzzer from here on out. And I'll be here I'll be here if you need me.
I do honestly I kind of love that answer, because I think that, like, for a kid, and you're like, I'm going to Warped Tour, I'm watching these shows, it's like, I want to do that. And you just kind of look at it and you go, I want to be a celebrity. I want to have everything the Madden brothers have. And I want to, come from nothing and get everything and do that. And I think it's like, there's a lot of reality here about how the industry works and the work that goes into it, and how hard it is for a lot of people in different places and different realms to get in, and how many bands try and how many bands make it. And so I think it's a really good response to just be like, the practicality of it is like, there's a lot of work behind it. You have to do it. You have to lose a lot of sleep and a lot of money and a lot of opportunities and a lot of time to dedicate yourself to this craft. In a personal world, I wish the music industry, could afford more money for artists and give more money to artists, and didn't take so much from them and gave more to them. But, that's not always the truth of it.
I appreciate you saying that. But so, and the supplemental to that is, this is around the time where those MCAs and those Sonys and whoever, they, when we were early into our career, the starting line, let's say, had gotten that big mega deal from the major label. Midtown had gotten that big deal. But so then pretty much around the time that we were starting to come to it, that shit was done. They were not giving you a $300,000 signing bonus. Sorry, that went 4 years ago to, name your band. And I always remember Valencia had signed with the major after a good release with I Surrender. But then the next move was they had gotten picked up by whatever they were. And that's the funny thing about majors, is that the name's changing every other year.
Right.
But I remember reading the guys that had really, had sought us out and recruited us. They loved the band. And it's the same old story that we had heard about the Midtowns and the starting line and Newfound Glory, who tried that, and I really like Coming Home, but they tried the more calm and piano based. I thought it was a great record, but we saw a lot of bands in the mid 2000s go through that. And then those opportunities dried up. You were not seeing bands getting major money to sign. And so what I always would bring up is, the 13th biggest pop punk band, they're not making much more money than the 30th biggest pop punk band, and when you really, and you hate to start, we're talking about financial tiers and success like that.
Sure.
But there's a reality to this where, again, how the fuck are you going to pay your bills? And at 19, it didn't matter. We could go and live with our parents afterwards. Or there was folks that didn't have that opportunity, and they worked harder than us outside of, that day to day. But at the core of it, again, there is a select few group of bands that really can make a living out of this. And I think that's one of the most interesting things about this, because those opening bands that you're going to see at a 1,000 cap room, you're talking about making like the opening band on a 4-band tour playing at your local 1,000 cap room. Maybe they're making $100. I mean, and to me, some of them are making 50. They're always, for that sort of tour, you're making at least $50 as the opener. But beyond that, I mean, so imagine, you're in year 3, you just landed this awesome tour, you're playing to 1,000 people, opening up for XYZ, nice sized band. You're making $50, and you're supposed to be happy with that because it's an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And it is, don't get me wrong. Like you have to go and take those, take the lumps, but it's tough. And if that's what we were working towards, like we had hoped for those sorts of opportunities later in our career where we would have killed to, let's say it was Census Fail, who we had played with a couple of times, and their singer manager, just great guy. But like we would have been lucky to make $150 to open for them on a tour, and we would have been happy to do it. But again, when you're 25 years old, not that age is up, but when you're 6-7 years into it, if the highlight is, and let's not mistake that $150 is not going to be split by 5 people. Yeah. That $150 is going to go to the actual cost of doing business here, which is going to get you to the next show. Maybe it'll get you a hotel for one night. I mean, so again, long-winded, but truthfully, again, I think everyone was just kind of exhausted at making no money. And we were never here to make, it was not about let's get rich or something. I just had thought, maybe I was naive. I just thought there was more of an opportunity to make a living. And I quickly learned that you really got to be in that top handful of groups. And beyond that, again, if we had a ranking of the top 25 current bands, pre-COVID that were touring, I think we'd all be very surprised at, what number 18 is financially making. And chances are they're not really able to pay rent and pay a cell phone bill.
Damn.
Yeah. And to try to swing that in somewhat of a positive light, no, it just really shows that when you're doing this, you're doing it because it's something you love to do. Do not try to do this as you're going to be famous or get rich quick scheme. Obviously, that's not the case. But even if you're number 1 or number 2, you're still not. You're not mopping it up. You're not super duper rich. But the point is that you enjoy what you're doing. And again, that's why we're coming back to this now. Like I full-heartedly don't believe that we're going to make, a ton of money off of this. And then, I can quit my job and back out on the road. Let's go, boys. Just bring kids along. Let's go. No, but it truly is. If you are pursuing a career playing music or just, being in business, you got to have a killer work ethic. That it's just like, you said you stream. I also stream. There's only like 99.99% of the people who start doing this are going to fail or give up. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing. Like with music, there's how many bands come out in the course of a day across, the United States, let alone the world. Everybody, wants to do something until it gets hard. And then once it gets hard, it's easier to, just wash your hands of it and move off to the next thing. But again, to try to swing this into positive light, I love making music. I love doing this. I know Drew does too. There's a reason why we're 33 or 32 years old, whatever the hell we are. There's a reason why we're this old and still doing it, because it's something we love to do. We love playing music. We love having fun. It's cool once we get to hanging out with each other on a stage and playing in front of some people. But if we can impart any kind of wisdom for anyone who might be listening to this and is an I Call Fives fan, make sure it's something you actually love doing. And if it is, have that work ethic, and you might be able to find some success out of it. And this is where Jeff went wrong, or be the singer-songwriter, because then you're on your own.
So that's this dumbass, like he paired up with 4 other guys. So look, if I could sing,
I knew I should have took out that solo project.
If I was a singer that could play the guitar well, I wouddn't be dicking around with I Call Fives. I can only play the bass barely, but no, Jeff, that was perfectly said. And again, what I really just wanted to really reiterate is that, it's not as though we quit. It was just, 6 years into giving it our best or our near damn best. Everybody kind of has to draw that line in the sand. So that time came for us sort of unofficially in 2012. We got lucky with some really cool opportunities. We had played the following year. So when we were like all collectively like, yeah, we're done with that fucking thing. Like, we'll see what happens. We were able to play with Fall Out Boy at Skate and Surf with Macklemore. He had that Pop and Tag song.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember Andrew
Never
WK.
Forget.
That was fun.
Andrew WK is not really going to be the
I'm going to pop
of how
some
we just.
tags when we got
But yeah,
$20 in my pocket.
Andrew WK did play that show too. And then the
Such a
following
chaotic
year,
lineup.
Yeah.
Oh
seriously.
my God, it was madness,
Silly.
but we had so much fun. It was a good time.
it also rained, which was shitty. But
And I
then the
still got on
following
roller
year-
coasters. It was awesome.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah, they should have been probably operating. But then the following
Yeah.
year, we had the opportunity again to play this fest with Green Day and The Day to Remember and Jimmy Heat World, silly level bands, and so that's why that we were smart to never say this is fully done, and it was too bad we couldn't actively regularly pursue it like we had once done. But for the reasons that we've spoken about, that's why we went that path.
There's definitely a disillusionment that comes, and I feel like that it's still kind of prominent nowadays with newer artists and bands, especially when you start to talk about the streaming income when it comes from like Spotify. So when you're talking about these things like, hey, sometimes it's not going to be fully sustainable, and even if you want it to be, you have to have this really good, backbreaking kind of sometimes work ethic, but you can't kind of like put all one eggs in a basket and have it come out unless you get like super incredibly lucky, like a lot of these other legacy bands that we know of. And I think that's like a really important thing to highlight in general for anybody going forward. And I think also touching back on, being privileged enough to have that safety net at home. I mean, I'm 26. I still live at home. So I completely get what you mean. And you're always wondering.
Here.
Yeah, and
Stay as long as you
not
can.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah, that's how
I don't mean to
how it
discredit.
is.
Yeah, that's sort of the unfortunate reality that we've seen for folks of our age generation, right? So when my parents, and they're in their mid 60s, but like back in their day, like when Jeff was trekking to school, you were to be married and out of the house before 25. Otherwise, something was fucking wrong with you. But we, this is not a properly stacked deck over here, right? So this is why we see people it's just too bad that, and not to overly generalize here, but there's folks that need to live at home, not because they're out pursuing their dream, but because they have this horrible college note, or because they couldn't, for whatever XYZ reason. So I just wanted to say that's too bad. And I don't mean to minimalize, that reality, that, only folks chasing their dream are stuck at home with their folks. No, I mean, just look at this, the environment that we exist in. It's just too bad with the housing market and all these other things. It just sucks.
Yeah.
This is when, if we had this live stream, we'd have a bunch of comments to say "eat the rich," and then we'd go on.
Oh, sure.
Hashtag
Okay.
eat the rich. Let's go.
And
there's
just
Alice.
eat. There we go.
Yeah. That is 100% it. I mean, I fucking Spotify that I use all the time, and I'm just like, yo, just like fucking pay more money. But I also think that about I don't know if you guys are coming back as part of a record label, or if you're still signed, or if you're just kind of doing this independently, or.
No, so this will come out around the same time before. This is going to come out through Smart Punk.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So who we grew up knowing as like they sold. I hope I'm not insulting them, but I used to go there for T-shirts. Like they were the T-shirt spot. And then over the years, they've turned it into a really cool, like a record shop and a record label. And they do a lot of cool different vinyl releases. So they're putting out this effort though.
Sick. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, everything I was finding, it's like used to be on Pure Noise, and that was like always like the first few articles, like Pure Noise band. I'm like, wow, they were really like saying, hey, we got this band, let's go, guys.
Sure. Yeah. So we had done a release through Pure Noise, and we had done a release through No Sleep Records, who we had met through the Wonder Years, and they had Touche Amore and La Dispute and Talents and Composure, some cool bands.
Yeah.
And not to discredit those folks, but they've certainly all come a long way since our tenure. But it's cool just to have any sort of name recognition with them at all is great. But yeah, so for years then, just because so many have passed, when it comes to ownership and rights and stuff and money, the payout it's a little surprising. Again, we're because this is not something we had to rely on. We're just happy that there's a resource and an outlet. The folks can listen to us. But it's fucking awful for the kids or the younger people that are pursuing this full time, because it's just that's not a livable wage that they're going to receive in royalties, and it's just too bad. And look, I'm a culprit too, and I'm sure Jeff. I'm sorry to keep talking. I'm sure you use one of. Aren't you an Apple guy? I
use Apple everything. Yeah.
But we're all culprits here because it's all the same. It's all the same shit. And when we were first coming out, in the late 2000s. At least through iTunes, you were getting the bulk of that 99-cent song sale. And that was a big part of people were actually buying these singles. And I was downloading this shit. Yeah. But a shockingly good amount.
That hard LimeWire life.
Yeah.
I was a LimeWire and I was a Kazaa guy before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so at least then though, the 99 cents had really added up. But now, there is no good direct line unless we're talking like Bandcamp and stuff. But because the streaming services have become so big, they really. And by the way, what a great fucking business model! Because I don't know how they ever gotten this opportunity to. Yeah, they're paying folks literally less than pennies on the dollar. Yeah. Wish I thought of it, and I think anyone that would have thought of it, like, oh, well, you can't not pay them that. Surely you must pay them more.
Yeah,
surely.
Turns out now,
it's like, wait a minute, let me be a bastard, give them next to nothing.
I just didn't think it would have been acceptable.
And you're like,
somehow.
I've been bamboozled.
Yeah, I've been bamboozled.
Yeah, I mean, and not to speak ill of any. I'm sure there are record labels that are doing the right thing out there. I think that's the majors. I think it's the ones that are like, hey, we're losing a shit ton of money on all of this stuff, and we don't know how to adapt, and we don't know how to change our business model. So we're just going to run with whatever we used to do and hope that it still works in some way. And certainly, with that in streaming and now finding other revenue sources from bands, I'm sure it's like, well, what the hell is the band supposed to make out of this? When does the band or when does the artist get something here too? So I know a lot of people have been going more independent. I'm sure record labels are adapting. There's independent record labels that are adapting more to that kind of world where there's a more equitable way to provide for both the artist, the record label, the business side of everything, and also not just taking from the person who's creating all the work.
Well, what happens with record labels, and it's really incredible. I don't know if you guys notice this. Pay attention to the Billboard and the top 10s. You'll see new artists in that top 10 all the time now. Mm-hmm. You see these astronomical overnight sensations that a year to 2 years from now you won't hear a thing from, and because they demand too much money or too large a cut of a percentage. They're still absolutely 100% still able to put out great music, and they still do all the time. But I like to use Lizzo 2 years ago was a monster. You could not turn on a radio without hearing that song, and it's
love the Juice song. It's really good.
Yeah.
I love Lizzo.
Yeah, instant love classic. But it's really just her new music really doesn't get pushed nearly as much because the new music probably doesn't have as much of a cut for said label, and that's what I looked at yesterday. My wife's like, "Oh, look at this song. It's by this country artist, and it's really good." I was like, "I've never heard that name in my life, and it's the number 2 song in the world right now. What the hell's going on?" But
it's not the guy that you said things that are really
I
bad,
hope it's not the racist guy.
No, it was not the racist guy.
Really, it's the other one.
My wife is the news of the world to me. She comes home from work because I work from home, and she tells me all the important things that are happening. And she told me that story, and I was just like, I have no idea who that is either. And I damn him. All right, but it's really just I swear I don't watch the news. Like I work from home all day, so I know my job while I'm at home, and then I play video games all night and stream, and I hang out with my community and chat. And then I write music. That's about it. So when it comes to world events and issues, I'm not the greatest, but I do pay attention occasionally to music. So
Jeff has like the most ideal situation from this hellscape. Of the
I
last,
don't
like,
leave
year and
this
a half.
room. This room. It's purple because I like purple, and I don't have to leave it. Let's go.
He's like that one book, and it's like, I lived in this room my entire life, and I know nothing but this room. What people tell, it's like, you know what? Maybe that wasn't a bad idea.
Yeah,
exactly. It's a wonderful, wonderful life. No, I'm just playing. When my wife and my young one get home, I make sure I stay out of this room as much as possible. But because working here and then streaming here and writing music in here, because I have my computer is right here, so I do I record music here and all my little stuff. So whenever they're home, I make sure that I am out of this room. But if I'm gonna spend so much of my life, it's very important that I enjoy the ambience and the atmosphere, and I have a very, very comfy chair. Two most important things.
Totally agree. Mine's a fake gamer chair, but it's more comfortable.
Those chairs are like $500. You guys are nuts.
Yeah,
this is Amazon.
I got
this is
mine
just
off
Amazon
of,
random shit.
I had a fake one.
I got mine off offer up for $25.
Oh wow!
Hell yeah! Well, the biggest problem isn't the chair itself. It's
all I do is play the game for cheaper furniture. I don't play the $500. I don't got that. I'm still in school too. The problem is
the assembly of the chair. That's the real issue.
Exactly.
Because those fucking things are hard to make.
I got this one. I ordered it, and I was like, "All right, I'm finally getting a good chair." I ordered an all black one. You'll notice that it is not. So it was the wrong one. And putting it together, I'm just like, I'm not sending this back.
I'm not doing this.
As soon as I opened it, I'm like, no, this is mine now. They messed up, but I'm the one who suffers.
It works aesthetically. It's fine. That's all that matters.
I'm not the most mad at it. I am frustrated, but I'm also like, I'm not sending it back.
It's
That's
not
so
like
much
they
effort on
sent you
me.
lime green or something. You'd be like,
oh,
this
then I would have. Then I would have.
This is not it.
Please pick this up.
You will die in that chair.
I'll die in the chair. It's fine. It has a little like leg rest that comes out too. So it's like
the barbershop style. Nice.
Oh
yeah. So it's got some benefits. It's not a bad chair, but I'm like, it could be more comfortable, and it could be like full matte black instead of just these white stripes on it.
I'm all about the back support, the lower back support, especially when you're playing video games all night.
I will not stand by this podcast turning into a computer chair podcast.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Anyway,
so we're coming out with I Call Fives chairs.
Yeah,
and they're going to be
absolutely
crazy.
No,
the lumbar.
Please check them out. Yeah, good for lumbar support.
Covers actually, so you can remove it. You could change it. There's a designer brand.
Yeah,
customizable,
top notch. Okay. Gucci makes them for us.
Oh.
And
whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Is it the
Gucci never thought they'd get into chairs, but then
though?
they heard the opportunity to collab with I Call Fives, and they're like, we're getting into chairs. Let's go.
There's a secret pop punk emo kid at Gucci right now who's like, who can I fucking work with? What fan base has the income now?
That kid is getting fired tomorrow.
Yeah, we're number 87 on the list, sadly.
Yeah.
I love the idea. There's all kinds of weird merch things that bands can do now. And people will go for it. I don't remember I'm trying to think of the weirdest thing. I was thinking skateboards.
Heart Attack
skateboards
Man did their own custom switchblade, and then they had to put a warning on it that said, "Don't kill anybody, but if you do, not our fault nor our problem."
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be.
Who was this? What band was this?
Heart Attack Man.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah,
I've seen them on Twitter.
In general,
those rambunctious kids.
Yeah, this man is. I wonder
I've seen
if
them
they're
on
okay.
Twitter.
I have seen them on the old tweeter. That's cool. Look, things have always, I don't know, beach balls or fanny packs or whatever. And I have no qualm with that. That's part of the stuff that the future lets us do, right? So it doesn't just have to be a t-shirt anymore. I remember somebody was doing bed pillows.
Yeah.
Which again, like I don't think anybody wants to sleep on Jeff's face, but like if that works.
But what about a body pillow?
Yeah,
like that's just like a cutout of Drew.
And you like have like a
cuddle that
pose
thing
where
every
it's like
night.
you're
We're trying
sitting.
to still sell the Drew toilet covers. Nobody's buying them.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, look, it allows. It's a time certainly to be creative and to do different stuff, and it's interesting for sure. I mean, the biggest thing, and not to go off on another change, but it's like the branding aspect now. I mean, we see that being a musical artist is also like having your own clothing label. If we had if we could do the gallery of all the stupid fucking shirts that we had, we would not be a very popular brand. And in today's, we literally had a shirt where it was like a monster brushing his teeth.
Yeah.
At the time, though, I thought, I don't know.
Those like gross
that
out
is a
like
real shirt.
monster shit.
That was like our
Scene
Hot
Kid
Topic
energy.
shirt.
Yeah.
That was the Hot Topic.
It really looked like it belonged there. But yeah, I mean, so there's aspects like that have certainly gone really, really, deep into this whole thing. But at the same time, I don't mean to knock it. It's just things like that are certainly different for sure.
Well, I will tell you, there's been a resurgence of people wanting to bring back the
Massive
scene.
resurgence, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe that monster brushing his teeth might come back.
Should we try the soap? It was also literally called the Soap Monster.
Oh.
That's what it was.
I will find that. I'll find that tonight and share that.
See if people are into it. I mean, you just never know. Like with all of emo nights and shit, like coming back and trying to like relive this like early 2000s era, eventually comes to like 06 and everybody's like, why was everything neon and gross? I want all of it. Give me more of those shirts. So I don't know what that is, but yeah, certainly there's gonna be a market that comes for it. Did we lose Drew? He's frozen on my screen.
Oh no.
And that's a perfectly frozen one though.
It was. It looks like he's
I didn't
inquisitively
know.
like staring at me, and I don't like it. He said I lost it, and I think my phone is dead. So it looks like I'll just be closing it out, guys.
All right. Well,
all right.
Before we, I guess, wrap it up further, could you tell us a little bit, or if anything, about the EP? I don't want anybody to get in trouble here.
Don't get in trouble.
That's okay. That's okay. So I really can't go into it because it really hasn't. It's not solidified yet exactly what the circumstances of that are going to be. All I can tell you is that we've been writing music nonstop, and we have a lot of material, and we are hoping to get it out sooner rather than later. So we have our single coming out next month. We are in the process of getting into the studio again right now. It is so difficult doing this in this whole pandemic area because there can't be a bunch of people. Everyone's got to be quarantined for a certain period of time. We got to make sure we're being as safe as possible. And obviously that takes a lot longer than, when we recorded our full length in Baltimore with 5 guys living in, an upstairs apartment for a month while we recorded this, album. And it unfortunately draws things out and makes it a lot more difficult. But the music is there. We've written so much already, and we keep writing. We're on a roll right now, and I'm stoked on it. I'm very, very excited. So if you're an I Call Fives fan, I mean, it sucks that you got to wait, and I apologize, but I promise you, we're working on it. And you got some new stuff to hold you over coming out very, very soon. This Friday, we got the cover coming out. At the end of next month, we're going to have the single come out. And I'm so excited to get the other stuff recorded too. Because again, as much as I don't want to sound conceited, I love listening back to it. And of course my wife has heard it because, she knows everything. She's my best and only friend outside of because I'm not allowed to leave the house, and I'm always in this room. Besides, my stream community, but the whole thing, like she's like, "Can I listen to that at work yet? Can I listen to it in my car?" I was like, "You can listen to it in your car, but don't show anyone." Don't show anyone.
You don't know anybody you're working with, the secret emo kid. You don't know that.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. All of her friends, all the people she works. She's a vet tech, and she works with she works with animals all day. But she has 6 or 7 people she works with, and they're all late 20s scene kids, and they're just every one of them. Like when she first started working there, they're like, "Oh, cool, I Call Fives hoodie," and she's like, "Oh yeah, thanks," and they're like, "Oh man, I love that band." And she's like, "Oh, they suck." My husband
I got
just
this
makes
for
me wear
free.
this. Yeah.
My husband makes me do free promotion for him. It's kind of lame, but it's a comfy hoodie, so
Exactly. Yeah, we only use the best material. Only Gucci. You know that.
Only Gucci.
But
She can
yeah,
only play
yeah.
the music for the dogs now.
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty much it. Yeah. I don't know if you could hear the dogs. I have 2 dogs that were freaking out.
Yeah, I thought I heard some
Yeah.
barking.
Yeah. My wife just got home, and I got a couple of puppies that are always excited to see her. They love her way more than they love me. But yeah, they're a couple of my other best friends. Couple of puppies.
They're like, we never see that guy. He's always in one room. We're never in there.
Wow, he's so rude. Just want to hang out, play? No. I leave the door open all day, other than when I'm streaming live or anything like that.
Right.
One of them usually comes and lays right by my feet. The other one is the loud one that freaks out. I have a doggy door out back, and she runs around like a maniac, barks at everything that walks by. Super protective, but she loves me. Fun times.
What kind of stuff do you stream on Twitch? And also, what's your Twitch name? Let's plug your Twitch here too.
I stream on Facebook Gaming.
Oh well, shit. Let's plug your Facebook then.
Yeah, it's just facebook.com/Jeff Todd Live. That's what the JTL letters back here that are probably backwards because for some reason Zoom flips the camera. But
I see it fine here. But I almost thought it was Justin Timberlake, and I was like,
that's who I am. I grew out my beard, and I'm nowhere near as handsome as I used to be. But I'm much better at Call of Duty. But no. But I stream a bunch of different games. Monday through Friday I stream Call of Duty. I play Warzone. I'm pretty good. I'm well above average. But on the weekends I just play some random stuff. I throw some old retro stuff in on Saturdays, and on Sunday it's my favorite day because I actually I'll play with my wife. I put a chair right next to me, and we just play some Mario Kart, and we just yell at each other, and it's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. That's the most terrible game to play with a significant other.
Oh my God, she has slapped the piss out of me like several times. Dude, she's wild, but yeah, she's my best friend, and she's just playing with me. But
of course,
yeah.
No, I'm like, it's where my childhood comes back, and it's like, yeah, I'm too fucking good at Mario Kart, like, and then it's like you're playing with somebody, and it's like, yeah, you're never gonna beat me, and it's like, just trouncing them in every course, and then you get to one, and then they just soar right over you to the finish line. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
Yep. You get that blue shell and then a red shell, and you're like, shit, okay, I'm still got it, and then a green shell bounces off the wall out of nowhere. It's just nonsense.
You're like, I quit forever. I'm never coming back to this.
Exactly. Until next
one
Sunday.
Loss, and you're just like, fuck it. I hate this game. I sold it.
Exactly.
At GameStop, give them some real business.
Yeah.
Stop.
How is Facebook gaming? I don't actually know anything about
it's the exact same thing as Twitch. Instead of bits, it's stars. I just started on Facebook. I'm probably gonna end up using Restream or something like that to where I can stream to both simultaneously, because I have so many people that I've co-streamed with on Twitch, and I have a lot of friends on them. And the downfall is you can't I can't send my when my stream's over, I can't send it to them, and they can't send it to me, which is kind of a bummer. But I have a bunch of friends on Facebook gaming as well too. So I'm trying to utilize both communities, but we'll see what happens. I'm focusing on Facebook. If it doesn't take off the way I want it to within the next 2 or 3 months, I'll start restreaming to both.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Rock and roll. I'm a full-time job, full-time video game streamer and awesome person, full-time college student getting another degree,
Jesus,
full-time singer in best pop punk band ever, I Call Fives. And
how do you find the time?
No, that's about it. And so this is usually the time that this you're cutting into wife and kid time, folks.
Damn, man. But so sorry.
Yeah, that's good. My wife actually had to work late tonight, so it ended up working out perfectly. So as you can see, when the dogs freaked out, that was her just getting home from work. So I'm sure she's super tired. So after this, we're gonna hang out for a little bit, watch some TV show. We're finishing up Cobra Kai right now, and
great show.
Yeah,
so much fun.
It's very cheesy 80s, and I love that stuff. Yeah, big fan. So we're gonna finish that up soon, and then on to whatever next show we're gonna binge watch.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and get your plugs in here, and we'll wrap up the episode. Where can everybody find the band on the internet? Where they can find you? No, Drew's not here to give his plugs either, but if you want to shout out his plugs.
That's okay. Our biggest like form of communication is through Facebook. We use facebook.com/iCall5s. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. I'm trying to like work on TikTok. I'm such an old man. I don't know what the hell to do with TikTok, but I'm just going to start recording all these random videos. I don't know. I'm going to run in. No, I can't go outside.
You got to do the trends.
Just do a trend, man.
To make it work.
I'm just going to do trending stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to sing Dear Maria, and then everyone will love it. And then that's all that matters.
I wish that weren't true. Like, you say it sarcastically, and I'm like, no, but that's it. That's it. Like, I've done the same thing where you're like sarcastic about it, and it's like, but that's really it, right? Isn't that actually it?
You to post on our TikTok, Brian. I've been asking you.
Because
I'm the only one doing it.
I know, because you're better at it. And it's like, there's an old boomer over here just trying, and it's like, why would I try? There's a young thriving person already doing it. Why would I step in?
Exactly. You
think I'll get on the TikTok?
You hold it down.
Yeah.
I got to try to talk someone else into doing the TikTok, but apparently that's going to end up being my job. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything at iCall5s, and as soon as any kind of information we release, any kind of communications we have, along with the random fart joke will come out on that stuff. So, but yeah, like all official announcements, the bigger stuff goes towards Facebook because we have, probably the largest following there because of when we were, really doing it. Yeah. That was it. We had Twitters. I just called it Twitters. You can let's clip that, send it to me in an email and put an angry face on it. But no, we all had, what I was saying is we all each had our own Twitter. So I said we had Twitters like each, but oh my goodness, I'm so ashamed of what I just said. No, but so we use Twitter, but not as frequently as we used to. Obviously, we used to tweet 4 or 5 times a day, and over the past few years, it's gone down to, it went from nothing to now it's like 1 or 2 times. But yeah, check that stuff out. It's super cool, and yeah, it's a great way to connect with us. If you ever want to reach out to us, never feel afraid to. And I can't tell you how many times I've had people like randomly message me through Facebook or Twitter and Instagram, and I always say like, "Oh, sorry to bother you, man, but like I really relate to this song, and I was just really curious, like what you were thinking when you wrote it and things like that." I love that stuff. That's the greatest thing in the world to me. If you want to talk, like half the reason why I have a video game stream is just, again, to talk to people. I love that stuff. We're all locked inside right now. Yeah, I'm playing video games and I love doing that too. But yeah, say what's up. Absolutely. You want to know why I wrote a song about elevators? Ask me. Ask me. I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's a story behind all of this stuff, and I love telling it. But yeah, and again, reach out to every one of us, Drew, Jeff, and Mike, any of us, and we would be happy to just conversate with everybody.
Fantastic. And awesome. The cover for At Your Funeral is out. By the time this episode's out, it'll be out. And the new single next month, and the EP soon, as
soon as possible. And again, it's hard to put a date on it because again, the way we have to do the recording, but the content is there, and as soon as we can get it all together, and we can all go to that said place, and then we'll get it done. But again, as soon as we can get it out to everybody, we will. I promise. Again, I can't wait. That's what, like, from the beginning of this podcast, like the very first thing I was like, I'm so excited to get the single out, Be Kind. As much as, we're putting out the cover and we're very excited for everyone to see that, just, like, it's kind of like a welcome back kind of thing, or like, here's what we sound like, 6 or 7 years later. But that single, that's what I'm stoked on. Very, very excited for the original.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're getting us hyped about it too. So
yeah, now I'm like, yes,
be hyped.
Be hyped.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about. It's we don't do this because we think we're gonna get rich or anything like that. We do this because we love writing music, and my favorite part about all of it is, again, not only writing music and singing and doing all awesome stuff. But I really miss playing shows. I love playing shows. I love being on a stage. And as he said to you before, we've played, huge, stadium-esque concerts. We've played small VFW halls with, 20 people in it at a time. And I love every single one of them, because anytime there's someone in our crowd singing along with me or just freaking out and stoked to be there, that's such a good feeling. That's why I said, like, reach out to me, please. Say what's up. Again, I love talking to people, but if you're gonna sing, with me. I love you. Let's go.
Well, hell yeah. Well, yeah, we can wrap the episode there. Jeff, Drew, who's now faded into the ether as the internet has cut out. Thank you.
He's
thank you both for being here.
Matrix.
Yeah. I'm going to thank him like he's here so he can hear this and be like, thank you, Drew, for being here. And Jeff, thank you as well for hanging out with us.
It is my pleasure, and I assure you it is Drew's pleasure too. He might not admit it or talk it. He loves this stuff. He loves talking to it. He's such a fan. He's such a fan. He doesn't have a stream like I do, but I promise he's been excited about this all day. He's texting, Jeff, you ready? Jeff, you clicked the wrong link. You were on the wrong link. No, there was like a Google Meet link. I clicked on that and I'm like, where is everybody? And he's like, wrong link, nerd. And I was like, okay, I got it.
Wrong link.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you for being on. Thank you for hanging with us. And if you're listening to this, go check out the music. I Call Fives and go over there. Go do it.
Rock and roll. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Much love, man.
Later, guys.
Later.